Hi there, everybody. I wanted to talk about my experience with getting nasal corrective surgery. I had a sinuplasty as well as a turbinate reduction about a month ago now, and it's been actually very life-changing for me. So I've lived my entire life not knowing what it's like to actually be able to breathe through my nose. I thought that the nose was just there to be able to smell and never really breathe through. Sure, I could use it to breathe, but it was extremely laborious and difficult. It didn't really work very well, especially when heavy breathing. I always had to revert to just mouth breathing. So I was in fact a mouth breather for the bulk of things. Sleep-wise, I more recently have been having some worse sleep problems. So as of this last year, I started looking into sleep solutions. I had a sleep apnea test done and I found out that I have extreme sleep apnea, and that's why I can be in bed for 9 hours feeling like I'm sleeping, but I'm wasting most of my time because I'm constantly waking up. I may not be coming to full consciousness, but I'm certainly not an REM. So my quality of sleep was very low. I got one of these Apple Watches so I could start watching my health, and it also was showing that I was waking up frequently in the night. So I went to see an ENT, an ear, nose, and throat doctor, and after some various consultations because of insurance reasons, I went to a couple of different places. I finally found someone who was covered by my insurance, and they took a look at my nose just like everyone else had and said, yeah, you have a pretty severely deviated septum, which one of them had taken an x-ray and found out that over on my left side, I had extreme obstruction up towards the top, because when the septum breaks, it likes to come back with scar tissue or something like that. It grows back and it obstructs in sort of random patterns. So I had a T-shaped septum. There was the septum, and then there was a piece that branched off to the side, blocking off my left nostril almost entirely. But genetically, I had large turbinates. So inside your nose, you had these little things that I guess are filters, for lack of better phrasing. And if they're too big, then they don't filter, they just obstruct. And you could look into my nose and immediately see that there was no passage. I remember when they took the video camera up my nose, I was like, oh wow, you can't even get the camera in there. That's crazy. So any of the doctors I had seen were very confident that I could see great results with it. So instead of going forward with a sleep apnea machine, I wanted to see about this method because that would also help me during the daytime. And it has. So it used to be that before the surgery, I could I could inhale through my nose, and you would see this portion of my nose just shut. I could suck my nose closed with just a mild breath through my nose. It wasn't even trying to breathe very hard. It would just shut itself. And now those are very, very stout breaths, and I can't even feel suction in the nose. It's free flowing. So the results afterwards, I'm experiencing full night's sleep, and it feels the same to me as far as getting in the bed and going to sleep. I just wake up, but instead of waking up and feeling like I haven't rested at all, I wake up and I feel like I'm ready to take on a day and do things. And furthermore, it used to be that when I would eat lunch, that I would already be like done for the day. I'd be like, man, my body is just telling me it is out of energy. I need to go take a nap. I need to sleep. I mean, I could fall asleep on demand. I could take a nap anywhere, any position, any climate, anything, on demand, because I was always tired. And now I finish my day of work. I went to work today. I worked all day, manual labor, and I came home after all of that, and I felt like, let's keep doing stuff. Let's do stuff. I felt productive. I mean, you can see it in my face. I don't look like I'm tired, and it's already, later in the evening, which is great. I'm still able to go to sleep in the evening, but I feel great. As far as the surgery goes, so in the surgery, you go in, they put you under, and it's an outpatient procedure. You go in the morning, don't eat the night before or whatever, and then they just stick you with an IV, and then you wake up later on in the day, and then you go home. So I mean, I went in at I want to say it was like 6:30 in the morning, and then I actually went in with like they rolled me in the bed into out towards surgery at I don't know, I think it was like 8:30 or something, and I woke back up around like 11, I want to say, 10:30, 11, and then we went home. Now, For the first couple of days, it was very difficult for me. I was couch bound, so I had to sleep on the couch because I had to be upright. If I and I couldn't stand up because if I were to stand up, then there would be like that pressure change in your nose of blood pressure, and then you'd start just bleeding more. So I had about a 4 or 5 day nosebleed, which it's inconvenient to say the least. There's drainage out the back and out the front, so you're constantly wearing this thing under your nose. I'll put up a photo of how I looked. My nose was huge, and the skin was peeling. All the pores were self-exfoliating. It's kind of really weird. But for those first couple of days, I was stuck on the couch. It was an absolute chore to try and walk too because of all the trauma that went on right here. I guess the closure of the nose and all that stuff from all of the packing and stuff, my in-ear balance must have been thrown off because I could barely walk. It was just like I went to walk and then the world was not stable. So that was an adventure for the first couple of days. I had absolutely no pain. There was no pain here, and I don't mean because of the anesthesia. I mean there was no pain because after they sent me home, they're like, "Here's medicine. If you need it, take it." And then I took none of it. I didn't need it. There was no pain at all. There was pain if I touched my nose, but you're not supposed to touch your nose. So after the first week, I was ambulating. I was walking around the house. I couldn't do much because if I even tried to put any amount of strain, the blood pressure could cause something to burst in your nose. So I wasn't doing anything. But after the first week, the 1 week visit, I went in and they went to remove the packing out of my nose. So after the surgery, they fill your nose up all the way back to your throat with packing. It's just stuffing to stop the bleeding and all that stuff. So I am allergic to shellfish, so they couldn't use the traditional one, which is more like it's more just like a big tampon. They stick it up one up each of your noses, and then after the week after procedure, they'll just grab it and pull the whole thing out as a whole. Well, for me, unfortunately, I had the less pleasurable experience. My packing was a different type, and it was like they stick the whole thing in your nose, and then after a week, it comes out in little tiny chunks. So they had to stick this really long metal vacuum cleaner up my nose, and then excruciating pain on my end because the nerves back there are extremely sensitive, and no anesthesia. They just said, lean your head back in the seat, and then the tube just went all the way back until I could feel it touching the back of my throat, and they sucked everything out of my nose. And then they asked me to just breathe, and it was the first time I was just like, I took a breath and I went, oh my God, this is amazing. I can breathe. The weirdest sensation. My nose has never experienced anything like that. It still took another couple of days before my nose went back to what size it is now. It used to be slightly crooked, very, very slight, and now it's straight, which I don't care really for the aesthetics of it. It's more about the function for me. I want to be able to breathe and sleep. It has been a month now, and recovery-wise, there's still little pieces of scabbing or stuff like that coming out here and there, but I'm fully functional. I can touch my nose. It's still a little sensitive around the septum if you push really hard, so because that's going to take a while to heal up still. I've heard other people say, it's like a 2 month, 3 month, whatever. That doesn't bother me. I am fully functional though. Both of my nostrils are completely clear, and I mean this is amazing. So if any of you out there have any sort of breathing or sleeping disability that you feel possibly is it could be improved, I say go for it. This was incredible. It was life-changing, and I hope that others can catch it before I did, before you're halfway in your 30s. And I could have had a lot more of my life before me just from having some energy and quality sleep time. But that's it. I wanted to share my story. Best of luck to everybody.